It's your boy. Lucky. Let's go. Check. Get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up.
Welcome to the show. I'm joined today. Come on in, Jay. Come on in, Jay. Welcome to the show. I'm joined by my brother, Benny Banks.
Yo, what's really good?
Oh, damn. I'm
Yo,
sorry.
I'm trying to
cut
get in
you
the
off.
thing. You got your
Okay,
fucking
I fucked up your whole intro. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Craze Boogs is here.
What's poppin'?
And today's guest is none other than Juan Bago, well, Michael Diaz.
Yeah,
AKA
both.
Juan Bago.
Juan Bago.
From Latinos Out Loud. Jay's here.
Woo!
Jay, thank you for letting us use the monkey room.
Thank you.
We love you so much.
Thank you, Theo.
Will you adopt me?
Talk about
Will
it
you
later.
adopt?
Talk about it later. All right, cool.
So,
always good to have the Dominican Vin Diesel in the house.
Hell yeah.
It's,
you know, I never put that together.
Yeah.
So now, so we're live in the monkey room, and of course Justin is behind the camera as usual. Mexicanin is here today, the real Mexicanin,
Real
and we're joined by Angel. The stunt double of Mexicanin was here last week. Will, we love you, Will. Shout out to Will. So from Latinos Out Loud, Michael Diaz or Mike Diaz, aka Juan Bago.
Yes.
From New Rochelle, but moved to Washington Heights. We'll get into that. He's on
Interesting
his
trajectory.
what
Trajectory.
trajectory. I like that word. That's a freaky little word.
We'll talk about the trajectory.
The trajectory.
Latinos Out Loud is now on his 5th season, 3rd
Yes.
episode today.
Second came out.
Second or
yeah.
third?
Second. We lose count. So many
Second, third.
seasons.
I'm sorry. I know it's 5. He's got more than me.
Yes.
I'm on my 2nd now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get like real personal into his background, his life. We're gonna have him ask him intimate questions.
Yes.
You know, as you can tell, he drinks wine. He's a sophisticated man.
Soy fino, yeah. Soy un hombre fino.
Is that a Pinot Noir?
No, it's actually Malbec.
A Malbec?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. From
Malbec.
what vineyard? What?
I think from Long Island.
Can we get a taste? Can we get a taste?
Or Jersey Shore.
With the thumb up. Let's see.
It's, I kind of like to, you know, kind of.
Let's see.
You need to
that's
smell
it.
it. You smell it afterwards.
It must be a good
My
year.
wife from the
It's
southern. The southern banks of New
2000.
Jersey.
I think late 2016, 17. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I forgot I had the bottle and I was like, oh snap, it's right there, and then that's why.
And then
So
you
it's
found
not
it. Yeah.
a Chateau Diana from
No, it's
Dwayne
not.
Reed or.
So- oh my god.
Charles
I
Schwab.
think I had that by accident like a month ago. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I gonna cook this shit?
I was listening to your show. I always walk by that display. They got always got a weird display before you get to the cashier, and it's like a white Zinfandel, a Cabernet, and some
yeah.
other. And I'm like, Chateau Diana. Who the hell's gonna pay $4 for a wine?
Yo.
Dude, I've done it plenty of times.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh man, yo,
More
you
power
raised,
to
bro.
you.
You brought yo. That's like the only time that you get like a hangover like the same night.
The best
Yeah, yeah,
fucking-
yeah.
the best
Right away.
fucking
The
hangover.
quality of that wine, yo.
Instant
Yeah,
hangover.
instant like damn, yo.
You know-
I think you could
$3
put
chuck.
that as antifreeze in your car.
You never had a $3 chuck?
No.
No.
That's the Charles Shaw. Go to Trader Joe's. $3.
Wow.
$3?
$3.
Yeah, but that's Trader Joe's, Dwayne Reed. You know, it's a little bit of a, it's a little bit of difference in the
What are you
taste.
talking about? What's the difference?
I think that
Trader Joe's
first of all, if you buy something from Dwayne Reed,
Listen,
the quality might not be as good as Trader.
Have you ever been to Chateau Diana? You don't know what the fuck they doing. over
I
there.
don't know.
Maybe they got fucking great.
We should
Maybe
look
they're not,
up
maybe
that
they're not
vineyard.
squashing the grapes with their feet, but another body part. And that's
Maybe.
why it's cheaper.
Hell yeah.
And maybe
It's
it's
interesting call.
Yeah.
So other juices in there.
All right, let's move on. Stop.
It's like the
He's
chicken,
dying.
It's like the chicken nuggets of wine, right? You're saying you don't know what.
You don't know what
Is
you're
it a
eating.
grape?
What shit is it? But it's
Exactly.
delicious.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think. Maybe if that's what the budget calls for.
Okay?
Who knows? You know, more power to
All
those
right,
people that
let's
drink
move
Georgie
on from
too.
Chateau Diana's.
Are you upset about Chateau Diana? Enough plugging Chateau.
Yeah.
We want to check Chateau Diana.
Yeah, well, it's not gonna be that much of a check. Their bottom line is probably not that much of a profit. So.
They're gonna send you a case.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
It's $12.
Not even a freaking T-shirt.
Those are the type of wines where you're like, last thing, oh shit, housewarming party? Yo, get that shit, Chateau, whatever, right? Bring that over.
Manischewitz.
Yeah.
Get the Manischewitz out.
So let's ask, Mike, give us a little bit of your background. Your life and your family, where'd you grow up?
Okay.
How'd you end up in this neighborhood called Washington Heights?
Yeah. So my parents met in Washington Heights in the 70s. My father was in construction. And my father is that type of Dominican that he came from El Campo in DR, and he wanted to translate that in the States. So he didn't want to be around other human beings.
Wow.
So he moved to New Rochelle, and then from there moved to Connecticut, and then moved way up near Danbury, Brewster, New York, Connecticut.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So I was there for a while. And then eventually I was like, nah, because I used to go to the Heights like every single weekend. Because I had like the majority of my relatives were here in Washington Heights.
Yeah.
And then as a young man, I moved to the Heights around the time that I wanted to get into doing arts. At that time, there were no arts or anything like that. It was just like Spanish clubs, but there was nothing as far as the art that was booming in the late 2000s and early 2000s, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
I moved from Connecticut to New York because I was pursuing acting.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
What'd your dad say? Like, I know, we come from Dominican
Oh,
same
yeah.
background. Dad, he's like, tiene que ser abogado, doctor, like.
Yeah.
What'd he say when you say I want to be an actor?
Well, the thing about it was my dad knew from a young age I had a smart mouth, right? So even like I remember one time I needed my F paper to be signed by my dad to prove that he saw that I failed, and I'm big into sports and baseball, so I was like, Papi, man, he goes, you got a 3 out of 10? That's an F. I'm like, well, Papi, if it was baseball, I'd be batting 300. That's pretty good. Boom!
That's a good argument.
And that, so I was always a class clown, always doing comedy, and my dad knew it. But until I did the HBO, there was the Habla Ya. They had a special about Latinos that grew up unique as Latinos, and I told my story about growing up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And to that point, it was one of those dude, work with me in construction, make that money. But once he saw the HBO and I was talking about him, which I was very fearful because I was doing an impression of him and all that. It was crazy because I did one on my mom and my dad, and I'm thinking, mom's gonna find it cute, and dad's gonna disown me. It was the opposite. My mom's like,
fucking risky move.
I don't talk like that. Why you say I talk like that? And I'm like, shit. Once dad comes home and he sees it, I'm done. He went, he saw it, and he started like crying from laughter. And from there, he started calling me Mr. Hollywood.
Well, he
so
started
I think
approving it?
he approved it. That was even after
Wait, but
I
did he
seen
say
it.
like that, Mr. Hollywood? Or
He doesn't
what
tell me
does
Hollywood in
dad
my
say?
face. He tells Hollywood to my siblings. Like, oh, how you brought to Hollywood? How you doing, man? And he's good. He's doing all right. But that I dealt with that, and I think even my cousin Jerry Almodifoca, he dealt with it too. Where we have very old school dads that are like, what's arts? Like, please make that money. Support the family and everything.
Yeah, because they have this machismo embedded where the man is supposed to go out and you gotta bring home the caveman, bring home the food.
Yeah. Like comedy is like, tú eres un charlatán.
Yeah.
Sí, tú no risa, pero tú.
But the best
trabajo que tú haces.
comedians are able to use their upbringing and even the best stand-ups.
Yeah.
You see the comedian reference their
You need to go
childhood.
through like fucking tragedy.
Yes.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, the thing about it, the thing about me growing up, and I talk about that with my siblings, is that all 4 of us have a great sense of humor because my mother and my father are very eccentric. And the other thing about it too is this, and I haven't really spoken about it as much, but watching the David Chappelle special talking about growing up in DC, and people are like, yo, how was it growing up? I grew up in a very upper class, but with the income of living I could live in the Heights, so it's tough because me being 15, 16, my friends are getting Mercedes Benz and all these expensive cars, but I'm like poor in upper class. So a lot of comedy came out of that, and my father just didn't click. He didn't care. Like he had no shit. There was just no connection or understanding of like how a child will grow up in a very, upper class, but struggling, like just, clothes and everything, and it being in a place of materialistic. So a lot of comedy came from that pain and growing up there in the later years and stuff. So yeah, growing up with having my father, like I also spoke about it. Like I actually like won like something talking about a short story about my father. I didn't have a poncho, and my dad didn't want to drive me to the bus stop. So he literally got a black garbage bag, cut it up, got like a piece of lasso, and then like another one, like the one you get from the supermarket. And I literally had to go to the bus stop, come in. Imagine like 12,
But
13.
to him, that's fine because in a campo,
Innovative. Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, like you're saying, it works practical, but marketing wise, not gonna be popular when I get there. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine you're on the bus and you see me like, what the fuck is that? Like that's a garbage bag. Very clever, but for the self-esteem, it really wasn't really.
I don't mean to laugh at your pain.
No, I mean, hello, I laugh at it now, but there was a lot of stories like that. My father was very innovative, but it just, just buy a poncho with that, you know what I mean? Like,
So I feel like you could do a special. I feel like you got the material in the years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that is in your mind, or are you still thinking about it, or?
I've done stand-up in the sense that I've been, some of these, in the last few years, people have asked me to host a comedy night. When you open up, obviously comedians have
Like a
their
warmer,
bits,
yeah.
like a warm-up. But I think for me, my mind, the way my mind is connected, and I'm always like thinking, like I can have a set piece, but I'm like really good with improv. That like for me, I'm very receptive with the audience. That I think I overthink to be a stand-up comedian. I can do improv, I can do sketch. I love the stage, but to do comedy, I think it'd be more of like a one-man show. I think that would be something that I could probably put in and do the impressions of all my relatives. But to do like a half-hour thing about it, I don't know if I'll experiment, I'll try, but I probably would veer more to like a half-hour one-man show about my life and growing
Something
up.
like Johnny Legs does.
Yeah,
with
yeah, exactly.
I want to
Johnny
see
was
like
on
a
the bus.
pan con queso reboot.
Ooh. Well, exclusive. We're discussing, bringing it back. Bago and O, you know what I'm saying? I think there's a time and space for it. Like, since we stopped, I haven't seen, and I was looking to have other individuals that would do parody videos, but that market has been completely, vacant. Vacant because there's not anyone really that put that precedent in as far as the quality of the music and all the stuff. So we definitely get the itch to do it because, combining comedy with music is like the best thing, because it stays in your mouth. Yeah.
So we're going a little. How'd you come up? Well, let's talk about Juan Bago, because people know you as Juan Bago. I know you as Mike.
Yeah.
People know you as Juan Bago. How'd you create? Like I know there's like there's a folk Dominican tale behind that.
I mean, there's Juan Bobo in Puerto Rico.
Juan Bobo, I'm sorry.
Which I found out afterwards, but then I still got the side eye from my friends. They're like, yeah, you got that from Juan Bobo. I'm like, I didn't even know that it was a Juan Bobo, like a kid's book and cartoon thing. Juan Bago came out where I had like a very unfunny title for the feature film that I did. So if you're going to go way back in time, I went to the Latino Film Festival, the HBO one. I saw short films there. I said, you know what, I'm gonna write something. I'm gonna write a feature. I shot the feature. When working with the title, it wasn't really funny, and I didn't even have a last name for Juan, which was the name of it. And I feel, the character's lazy. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call it, Juan Bago. But with my gringo ass, I didn't know that it was with a V. So I did Juan Bago. I trademarked it, copyrighted everything. And then my cousin was like, yo, it's with a V, right? I'm like, shit, too late. So it stuck. And then how, like for me, networking, I would network. I would go out. Like I was a hustler. I would go to all the industry parties and everything. And then I'm like, I got a movie coming out. It's called The Story of Juan Bago. And they're like, oh, that's great. And what's your role? I'm like, I'm producing. I'm Juan Bago. So it stuck in getting out there the brand
that's Juan
because
Bago.
Juan
Yeah,
Bago
yeah,
is
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
I feel you.
as the lead, I was out there and I'm like, yo, Juan Bago. So it caught on. And then once I started doing other projects, I was like, all right, you know, Michael Diaz, Juan Bago, I went with the Juan Bago brand as far as the artist side. Producing and everything else on Michael Diaz, but it stuck on there as far as being the name.
Juan Bago, and you also did. There's a couple of things.
I like when people do their.
There's the story of Juan Bago. You already brought that up. Craze Boogie brought up Pan con Queso. There's also Room 28 comedy.
Yeah.
Homies in the Heights. Wives in the Heights is Wives in the Heights, right?
No, Wives in the Heights was a project that a couple of individuals wanted to do a parody on Real Housewives, and they shot a trailer for it. But it was, and I directed the trailer. But it was never developed as far as.
But I think that's at this point in time where it is. By the way, I'll talk to you off camera about that. But there is I think there is an audience for that kind of a show right now.
Absolutely.
And then you did Hooked on Hookah. My favorite skit, Dominicans, was Puerto Rican. My wife's Puerto Rican and Cuban. She had never seen it before. I was like, oh, I'm interviewing my boy Juan Bago on the Heights.
Yeah, it was good.
And I played it for her, and she thought it was hysterical. So she
Yeah.
played it for the whole family.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there's a couple
I like
of things we want, and then of course the podcast.
Yes.
But we're at Juan Bago. What do you do next after you did the story of Juan Bago? You wrote it.
So because I literally I wanted to do the feature, and there was a lot of people that were involved in the project. A lot of individuals in that project were doing their projects. So I took about 2 to 3 years really helping other individuals doing short films, a feature. Around that time is when I started the first version of Room 28 back in 07, because I was working with a network this is back in 07 where digital was not what digital is now, content.
Yeah,
right.
So I got contracted to create weekly content, like sketches and things of that nature. They gave me a camcorder. They gave me some editing software. So like from a couple years after Juan Bago, I took the advantage. I was like, look, I got a camera. I know a couple directors. I know a bunch of funny people. Let's create sketches. And that's where Room 28 came around. And I was doing that for 2 to 3 years. Then back in around 09 is when I met Rachel, which we started online radio, because online radio was big in that time. So I did online radio. And then C Large, I worked with him. We were doing music videos, commercials. And then fast forward 2013-14, brought back Room 28, and just been doing sketches with Flama and a lot of digital platforms.
And you also did. There was a commercial where you were like
Oh shit, that's one of my favorite.
What's the
commercials.
character?
So anybody in the Bronx knows about Fernando the Party.
Yes.
Which is coming back again this year. I feel like everything's, I'm bringing back. I'm just bringing everything back. Like, yo, Paco Cas is coming back. You know, 10 years.
Fernando coming back like on your own character, or is he coming back with that same? Is it like a promotion?
Fucking licensed to North End Wine and Liquor.
Yeah, I think the
That's
way
your
North
character, by
End,
the way, right?
They got a
it's not.
lifetime
No, it's not
contract.
actually my character. The way it happened with Fernando the Party Planner was, at the time, I had a friend of mine that was casted for it, but he was union. And that commercial was non-union. So my boy was like, yo, they're trying to do a commercial in the Bronx. I threw your name in there, and then I went, and they were like, think you could be funny? And I'm like, all right, let's see. Let's do this. And then I did it, and like, it was just ridiculous. Like, it's so funny how many people from the Bronx, like, you know, like even DJ Zamero, Loopy, everyone knew of me because of the commercial. And I'm like, wait, what? But they literally didn't think. The expectation for that commercial was like, all the other commercials were very campy and cheesy and everything. They were trying to do that. But I guess the connection of how I saw the character, because I knew it was going to be campy, but I wanted to use, like, I wanted to be campy with a wink in the eye. Like, I know it's campy, instead of like, it's campy. And it struck a chord. And it just became to a point where after Pan con Queso and after all this, like, we can't afford him anymore. And like, literally they was like, yo, we can't. Like, when I shot some stuff that's gonna be coming out this year, I was with the owners and stuff, and they're like, yo, you don't understand. People come here and they think he works here. People come, we get
I fucking thought you worked there.
we get prank phone calls. we get like it's getting really it got to a point where it's like, all right, enough is enough. But they want, they brought it back, so this year they're gonna be playing some of them.
That shit's gonna.
That shit was fucking good. My mom loved that fucking commercial.
Yo, have you
My
ever gone
grandmother,
out
too.
as the character? Just
Yo,
go.
you know what's so funny? If you look up on YouTube, there was a kid that was hospitalized, and the father wanted for the child to meet with me, and it was the craziest thing. It was me and then my cousin, the villain in there, and we went. And I had to do some public stuff and some kids, and it's like, yo, this is North End Liquor, and kids are looking up to the North End Liquor. I'm like, what kind of role model is a mascot for a liquor store? But I guess I don't know. It struck a chord.
It was the curls too.
So
Yeah,
will
the
Fernando
girls.
be a guest on Latinos Out Loud at the store?
Ooh, I don't know. That's up to the store. Probably when the commercial comes back again, because still people are like they miss it. I'm like, all right, so.
So one of my cousins, he's huge into film and television.
Yes.
And he actually was the one that was like, yo, you gotta check out this dude Juan Bago.
Mm-hmm.
Back in like 07.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I need you to ask him something.
Ooh,
Ask him about his experience working with Oz Rodriguez and being in SNL videos. And how long are we going to wait to see him as the first Dominican SNL cast?
Wow.
Let's
The
go.
deep
Wow.
question.
So, Anthony, there you
Going
go.
in.
Wow.
And
That's a good ass fucking
he's a Juan
What the
Bago.
fuck you
He's
think
a
about?
Wow. That great question.
Stole it from me.
Great question. Well, first off, met Oz because a friend of mine was like, yo, I didn't even know this. My friend was like, yo, the director of the digital shorts is Dominican. I was like, yeah, right. You gotta be kidding me. And I saw it. I went slid in his DMs. Nothing. Then the head of remolacha.net,
Yeah.
Remo, shout out to Remo.
Shout
Remo's
out
like,
Remolacha.
listen, I want to interview Osmani, and I want you to interview him. And I was like, all right. So Remo was like, all right. So I got in contact with Oz, and I went, for the first time ever, interview him in the office in SNL. And I was like, sweating. I to kiss his ass, I found out that he likes quipes, so I brought a quipes for the interview, and in there. And it's like a weird situation because I'm like, hey, look, I'm interviewing you, but like, I'm an actor, what's up? And we stayed in touch, and then like about maybe 7-8 months afterwards, he's like, hey, do you want to be in one of the digital things? Drake's going to be in the video. And I'm like, what? Of course. So from there, I was in the Drake video. But the funny thing was, Oz was like, if you have any other friends, bring them along. So the funny thing about it is that the first video I ever did, my +1 got more camera time than I did. So it was the weirdest thing because I'm watching it and I'm like, and then my boy was like, yo, you saw me? I'm like, yeah, I saw you, but I didn't see myself. Alright? So I got pissed, but then I got to do with Chappelle, so I got to see Chappelle perform all his iconic characters and stuff. Look, working with Osmani, Oz, the guy, it doesn't matter what nationality he is. He is just the best in directing. Like, seeing him direct, Chappelle, directing everybody. It's a thing where being that calm, because remember, when you're doing these digital shorts, you get the script Thursday. You're doing pre-production Thursday night. Friday, you're already shooting. Saturday, you needed a full-blown sketch edited. So to have all that pressure and him being ice and being able to have it in his brain, he's got backups behind backups behind backups. To see that, you only become better. I was Room 28 got him to direct a sketch. We won a couple of awards, so I was the lead in that sketch. So to work with him and his geniusness was the best. So Plan B, being the first Dominican one, let's see. I mean, it's a lot. It's tough. One of the things of watching behind the scenes is there's a lot of politics and a lot of stuff being on SNL. You could join SNL in 1 year. It takes you about 2 to 3 years. Unless you're Will Ferrell or you're one of these geniuses, it takes a while. Like, there's a Latina right now, and she's been on the cast for 3 years now, and she'll be in a sketch or two, but it's a grind.
It's a process.
It's a process to be in there. I would love to, but I feel like I wouldn't be upset if I wasn't going to be on SNL at this point in time.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
it's beautiful.
feel if there's one of us that has a shot coming from this neighborhood and our background, it's you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Appreciate
you.
that.
Have you ever auditioned for it though?
I haven't. I think this year, I'm gonna make a prediction. I'll probably be close to auditioning for it. Like I
Yeah.
have the leads now, because that's the other thing about it. You just can't be like,
Yeah.
yo, what's up? Yeah, I heard you got like a new season. Let me audition for it.
Yeah.
Is it like
But-
the cat shows up at your crib like, in the middle of the
They
night?
just
with, like, hoods
snatch you,
on?
put you in
Yeah.
a truck,
Fucking
and then
kidnap
you
you?
show up in front of Lauren, and Lauren is in the dark somewhere. Lauren Michaels is in
Behind
the
the
dark.
table,
I think
petting a
I
kitty
think
or
he's funny.
something.
Yeah, I think you're funny. I'll call you back.
That's a great fucking Lauren Michaels impression.
Thank you. It's almost like Dr. Evil.
It's like Dr.
Mixed
Evil
in, yeah.
with like
Well,
Fozzie
like-
Bear from
Yeah.
Muppets.
And
Yeah,
like
it is.
Kermit, a little bit of Kermit.
Yeah, a
in
little
there,
bit of
yeah.
Kermit too. And I'm not really good at impressions, but thanks.
So I got a story about Room 28.
Ooh.
So MIH, we used to do Friday nights here at the Monkey Room. We're here on a Monday because it was free hookah.
Free hookah Monday.
Is there still free hookah Mondays?
No.
Yes, but
damn.
only one.
I'm sorry to break your heart.
Damn.
Yes,
What?
but only one.
What does that even mean?
What is that?
I mean,
Like
they only
one
give you one
refill,
hookah, no refills.
yeah.
Just the
Ah.
initial hookah is free.
So we were here,
Politics.
and
I don't
we were all wearing suits. Lou was here too. Lou's here, my boy Lou.
Shout out Big Lou.
Shout out to Big Lou. Oh, shout out to Rachel Aloga also. He mentioned Rachel.
Yeah.
So
and shout out to my co-host Frank.
Frank is back
Niels from Latinos Out Loud.
So-
he's here. He's spying. He's making sure.
I saw him creeping on the door. I was like, oh.
He's gonna report back next week when we record. Like, yo, he mentioned none of us.
And we
he
mentioned-
said it was just him on Latinos Out
Frank,
Loud.
we already had mentioned Jamie too. So, we were here. I don't know why we were wearing suits. All three of us were suited up, and then Jay's like, "Yo, you guys want to go to?"
We just came from the opera.
I don't know what the fuck.
Wow.
You guys went to the
We
opera?
and Jacob goes like, "You guys want to go to 809?" So you guys were doing something in 809,
Oh my god.
and then there was maybe a concert afterwards or something.
David Cala was performing.
Afterwards or something like that.
Like a
So we got
funny-
to see Room 28, and then we were hanging out with Uncle Jacob. But that was the first time I saw Room 28 at that time.
Damn, you know what? That was our first show that we did.
And
from
I had no clue. I
2009.
just was like,
When
yeah.
we performed, that was our first ever, get rid of all the cobwebs, performing on a
809.
makeshift stage. So, like, we all get nervous and everything. That's natural. But, like, all of us were like, and it was like 180, 190 people in that. And that's a different crowd from when we were performing theater, because theater people are sitting down,
Right.
they're there. But it's like in a club,
Plus you
lounge
got-
area. You got people who are like,
All these women dressed up and shit.
Yeah,
They
but
find-
it was
they
like-
think it's a nightclub.
Gun Buchanan's on deck.
yo, but the thing, no, but it's like, but the thing about it was like, when you're in the theater, you're like this, but those people like positively heckling, you know what I mean? Not like at a negative one, but like, but like, all right, we'll let you finish laughing, and then we can continue with our joke here.
That's
They're
definitely
waiting to
809
dance and shit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Date rápido.
Yeah, I know. Are you done? All right, let's go.
So that was, I just remembered that. When you mentioned Room 20, I was like, wait, we went, it was at 809. And we
That's
went,
crazy.
I don't know why we were wearing suits, but that's what
That's
I remember.
funny.
He just said you guys went to
We
the
went to
opera.
fucking opera. I just told you. We went
I've
partying
never in
hard.
my life been to the opera. I don't know, maybe you've been to the opera?
That day,
Yeah.
I was in the opera.
You had some space cakes
Maybe you
that
was
day?
there?
No, I
was
was
Do you
not.
remember the name of the opera show?
I don't know, it was like some orchestra shit. It was like a holiday thing that they were doing.
Oh, it was a holiday
Oh,
also.
got it.
Ah.
Damn.
What, what was it? You remember? I don't know.
Lou don't remember. We were having beers here
Uh-huh.
and hookah, and then Jacob bought like a huge bottle of whiskey
Like
when
2
we
in
got
the
away.
morning.
The
in the morning.
owner of
You guys are
809,
from
he's like,
Alto.
Jacob's like, oh yeah, this is my guy, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Tuxedo.
oh hey, I don't know this guy.
Right.
He like they set up us in a little corner. He's like, you guys want to go watch a little comedy? You want to watch it?
Yeah,
Like,
blew like whiskey all up into like the bathroom.
yeah.
Nice.
So it was
Sounds like
a
a
good random night,
Right?
I mean, that's an uptown night.
And I used to bump into you here a couple times,
Dude,
apartment
I
a couple
lived
times.
Here. I lived here.
That's true. Didn't you have like your own like reserved table? Or something?
Dude, I was so.
I think
no,
there's a
I
Juan
was-
Bago chair by the bar.
I have imprints everywhere around here. No, it was bad. Like I got to a point I was so addicted to smoking hookah that I would like memorize lines. Like it would be chaotic. It would even be like a Monday and it was just full blown loud music. You know, Knicks are playing and everything, and I'm just here like smoking hookah, drinking my wine, and learning lines. That's how addicted I was from smoking hookah. Like this place, it's like when you're a crackhead and you go back to your old neighborhood of smoking crack.
This man right here.
Right here, I would be addicted to hookah.
You know what we call him? The hookah god.
Listen,
This guy is still addicted to smoking.
Still-
Still addicted to it?
I need you to talk to me.
My doctor,
I need
yo,
you
my
to-
doctor,
why the fuck I put him on the
my
spot?
my doctor was like, yo, what's good? Your lungs, what's up? And I'm like, what? He's like, you smoke hookah? Because you know, like white doctors are like, what the fuck is hookah, right?
The shit is that I don't have that problem because I don't go to the doctor.
See, you're smart.
will
See,
never-
you remove
they
that.
never catch
You
you.
remove that obstacle. You're
Never
good.
catch him.
Not me. I was like, and he's like, you can't smoke hookah. You just gotta stop.
That's terrible.
Right? Check it. He's like, yo, but this is how bad it was.
That's called a hater.
Yeah.
I like how he didn't even think it was cigarettes. He just assumed it was hookah.
Yeah.
Forget the
He
cigarette.
didn't know if you had
So,
another
then
habit.
so you know what's so funny? So the next day I go to everybody. I'm like, yo, I can't smoke hookah no more. Like, what?
Nah.
Like, I can't. Yo, 3 weeks later, I'm right back at it. I'm right back to Monkey Room smoking hookah. And I was like,
Yeah.
whatever, yo. But I quit now.
Nah.
Unless they got tonight, then. For old
I
time's
mean,
sake.
Till I die.
Bro,
I think for
one
old
last
time's
time.
sake.
Old
It
time's
won't
sake.
kill you.
Why not?
It
You
won't
know
kill
what I
you
mean?
in lungs.
Well, if Enrique is
We're
here,
gonna give you 2 more glasses of wine.
Oh, yeah, from there. Fuck that, yo.
Hookah with us.
Frank, you want some hookah too?
Ah!
Hell yeah, he does.
No doubt.
Hell yeah,
No
he does.
doubt, yo. But let me say this, and this is a fact, and Frank knows this because he remembers. I got hooked on hookah shooting the video "Hooked on Hookah." Before that, Frank, right? Before
I didn't even
that,
get to bring it up.
yeah, so I used to make fun. That was the whole thing. We were making fun of people that were addicted to hookah, and guess what? All weekend when we were shooting, I smoked hookah, and
He was like, "Damn,
he
this shit kinda
kept. He
good."
had a couple of hookahs because we needed a couple of hookahs. I got addicted to hookah for 3 years because I shot it. So it's like I was so method that I ended up being hooked on hookah.
Like Daniel
So,
Day-Lewis.
only question is, what was the flavor of choice?
Oh shit, mint.
Blueberry
I'm
mist.
basic. I'm a basic
Blueberry mist.
biatch. I like mint. I'm good with mint.
So not coconut mint. That was our thing.
Yeah,
Yo, that
you
was
know.
good.
It's a nice little.
Yeah.
A little sweetness.
It's a nice little.
Sweetness.
Yo,
Anything with mint in the middle.
I've been in the interview for 20 minutes, and my man for the first time comes out with the you know, you saw the hands like, you know, this thing, you know,
Coconut mint.
it's good.
Coconut mint.
Coconut mint.
Oh man.
Coconut
So
mint.
how did you mentioned you met Rachel in 2009? You guys were working on online radio.
Yeah.
How did Latinos Out Loud come about?
Well, I've known Rachel now for 18 years. And then when Juan Bago came out, she was working for Latina magazine, and she was doing marketing.
Wow.
And we were friends, and she was like, "I'm gonna help you out." You know, there was a little article about it in Latina, but she interviewed me in her online radio show, and then I became co-host, right?
Oh, wow.
So we then brought back it was called the Pochincha Bueno Show. So it was like online radio,
Wow.
similar to what a podcast is. And then we brought it back after I did Pan con Queso and in the videos. We brought it back. We shot it actually in Manhattan Times, so in their office. And it was me, Rachel, and this time around Jamie came along, and we were doing the Pochincha Bueno Show for like 6 months, and then at the end of 2013, we started working, co-producing Room 28. And then Jamie and I had a podcast called The Translators, which was interviewing Latino actors on their path. So I already got familiar with the podcast.
Right.
And then the end of 2016, I got interviewed by a podcast, the Scumbags, and they interviewed me. They did a special anniversary thing.
My friend was involved in that.
Yeah,
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah.
And then Victor started the network. And while he was saying, "Look, I'm gonna start a network," I was like, "Yo, look." And I told Rachel, I was like, "Yo, we've done the online radio. We have the chemistry. Let's get into this podcast thing." the chemistry was there, and then Frank was doing the fake news. He's always been known around the circle about doing fake news. So I was like, Frankspiracy. So I was like, yo, this be perfect. We had a co-host named Andrew Santiago, but then he got hired by Me Too in LA, so he left, and that's when Jamie came and was there. But Rachel and I have worked in the past, and we figured, like, let's get involved with the podcast. It's always been therapy for us, and we were like, let's do this. And so that's sort of the transition that we went from doing online radio to doing podcasts.
When did Revolver Network come into your
So
picture?
Revolver was reaching out to us while we were with Scumbags, but we were we were loyal, and we were working with Scumbags for the year. But the thing about Revolver was that they were offering a big, because you gotta understand, sometimes when you're dealing with some podcast networks, the bandwidth and the reach was out there, and we figured that we were very local as far as our audience was very tri-state New York.
Kind of like this show.
Right. And so when Revolver got involved, they reached out, like, they were hitting us up from, like, we started with Scumbags from, like, let's say January, from March. And we're like, no, we're good, we're happy. We did another season. But then we wanted to transition and say, look, we want to get to a point where it's, no offense to Scumbags, but we want to get to a point where we want to get on a national scale.
You want people in Iowa to be listening to your shit.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Alabama.
Hell yeah.
The other day, someone said us up from Alabama, Dominican. Well, there's like, we have a few listeners in Alabama.
Yo, I mean, shit though. Like, there's a couple people now that are Dominican that are out there doing this shit now. So I feel like LA's a market that.
Oh yeah,
they love Dominican.
there's a lot of Dominicans.
Can I say
They
it?
love Dominican.
Can I say it? So, Watch the Heights,
You gonna say it?
and he's also half California guy, right?
Half Californian.
Half
How
California.
does that work?
Because he was born. Actually, he's from the Bronx too. You're everywhere, bro.
It's cool.
International. Thank you.
International Craze.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when he went out there, he's like, "Yo, Rick, man, I'm a little bummed out. There's not too much of the culture here."
Yo.
And he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a
Can't get
small.
tostones over there.
Yo, you could get.
We had
you
to
could
send
get
him a
plátanos,
Dominican care package.
But you definitely cannot get salami or queso frito.
No.
Like,
Somebody was
there's like a
telling me
black
that.
market for that now.
I think.
There's a-
There's this white girl named McKenna. Shout out McKenna.
She was the plug for
She's
you.
the plug.
She's smoking
I don't know
shit
what the fuck
over
she
there?
gets it, but she's a white girl.
Yeah, I went to this conference called Hispanicize back in October, I believe, and there was a lot. I got teary-eyed because there was a panel, and it was Dominican. It was Jesse Terrero. There was Gabriel from Pero Like, Julissa, and like getting all there. And I think somebody was telling me that they get the hookup. They get somebody to FedEx the salami and all that stuff and bring it out
It's like
there.
a big
you know?
order. I'm in like a fucking
so-
group chat. It's Dominicans in Cali.
Yes, Dominican Cali. Shout outs to them because
Shout out
they
Dominicans in
really,
Cali for sure.
yeah, man, they really they
Good thing.
because they're all coming from the woodworks, you know. It's not like New York where it's like you can just take a train and you're like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
Out there, they're all separated. So,
Hell yeah.
so yeah. So Revolver, we ended up working with them, and it's been awesome.
Revolver. So we did you 5 seasons in now.
So yeah, but it's like 5 seasons in when it's like it's our 3rd year, 5 seasons, because you know how like what is it? Is it like Bachelor? You know, it's like not one season per year, but
take
it's like
breaks
yeah,
in
we
the
take
year.
breaks in there. So
But
yeah, it's 5 seasons.
That's a lot of. How many episodes do you think you?
We're
do in
up
one
to
season?
like I'm the numbers guy. I think we're up to like 85. So we're due for our 100th in April, I believe. April 23rd, I think we're due for our 100th.
So this is our 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 18, 19th episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like you guys.
Something like that.
I would like to get there if it's possible.
Consistency is just
And content.
yeah. It's just driving and also I think what really helps us out, we're very structured. Because sometimes that's the thing about podcasts and stuff like that. You can plateau, or you can get kind of like caught in this in the just in the grind of it, right? But I think if you create some goals and you create some milestones and you create the structure, I think that gets you going, especially when you do it so consistently. You know, like you don't want to get to a point it becomes a job, right?
Yeah.
So I think you want to kind of create some goals and some milestones to get you like motivated, like, yo, we're almost to this here.
Yeah.
And then once you hit that level, you get to the next level.
It seems like the chemistry that y'all got too plays a big part. 'Cause I feel
Well,
like
look, I've known Frank.
Super good
I've known
chemistry.
Frank now. Damn, like what? 17 years? It's like 2002, right? I've known Rachel since 2001, and I've known Jamie the least 2006. So we all are friends. So there's a chemistry off mic, and then there's on mic, right? That's the one that's been growing since we've started from 2017. Right. But as far as individuals, we've all known each other for 15 years. So it's a thing where we're comfy, we're friends. We there's that. I always like to talk about like in sports. Like sometimes you could put the best 5 players on the court, right? But if you haven't played a few games together and know like, right there, that's where his sweet spot is shooting, and then when no look pass is gonna come over here. That's how we are. We kind of know our spots where you won't have awkward silence because we kind of know each other's rhythms.
Yeah. So it doesn't even feel. It feels like you're just having fun. It doesn't even feel like a job. It's something that you want to do.
Our main challenge is to stick within the hour 10, hour 15.
Oh, that's our main challenge now.
Because for us, we'll go off. We're like, no, it's not. But we are just like, I think some of the best material is the stuff that you guys haven't even heard publicly, because it's like, well, the mic's on, it's hot, and we're just talking and we're just ranting, and it's just that natural, feel of the stuff. So, I think it's always a matter of just experience and working with each other for a while that gets you to that point where you feel comfortable.
So I also ordered you another
Vino. Thank you.
And
one step closer to the hookah.
Let's go. Yes. So,
the hookah's next.
Thank you so much.
But
let's go Mets, yo. We're gonna.
Let's go Mets.
We're not doing much this season.
What?
I think we are.
Come on.
I like this general manager. He's stacking up that bench.
That guy, he's actually taking some risks.
Although I saw a video of that prospect that we traded to
Seattle.
Dude,
my
don't
brother
even
working
tell
out,
me about that dude,
Diesel.
bro. Don't even tell me.
My brother was upset that we gave him up.
I was telling you.
And we work together and we do a podcast together.
Like he's a
so when something happens in the sports world, we'll have a conversation. And my brother comes over to my
I told him that's a mistake.
Why the hell did we do that? We could have done. By the way, shout out to I'm wearing the Mets colors for you,
Hey, what's the
I
Mets?
like that.
What's the Mets? What is it?
The Mets are a professional baseball team that play in New York.
Fan, right?
He's from
he's
BX. I'm a Dodger fan now.
Oh, you're a Dodger fan.
converted, yeah.
Well, congratulations for getting Harper 2.0.
And
Pollock.
they
And
got
AJ. You got AJ instead
Pollock,
of Harper.
Thank you.
He has no idea what you're talking about.
I don't fucking watch it.
He doesn't watch sports.
Was that like a dream your dad had for you?
Huh?
El hijo mío va a ser un pelotero.
No, I got inspired watching Rafael Santana. So I wanted to be a shortstop for the Mets. And then, obviously I got cut in high school, and then I was like, I bet.
There goes that.
Yeah, there goes that.
Construction.
I'm in an all-white school, and you're gonna cut a Dominican
from the baseball
team. Like, just have me there for intimidation. You know what I mean?
You probably had a full beard.
Listen, you could have been.
I definitely had a mustache.
You could have been like in bench warmers, the guy that's like I ain't 12.
Yes. Yeah, that was
you can still go back.
Yeah, I can still go back.
Dude, they probably were pissed when they found out you couldn't play baseball.
Oh my God.
They were excited. Oh shit, we got one.
Play baseball.
Yeah.
Really, you were that bad?
Story
Or
of
was it?
No, it wasn't bad. I went for a position that was a little bit easier and had more. I went for second base, and there was a lot of competition for second base. So
You should play the outfield or the catcher. Nobody wants to be a catcher.
I actually played catcher in Babe Ruth. The other not connected there, but that's bad for your knees, bro. I still haven't recovered from.
So
squatting.
let me ask you, what are some of your
Yes.
favorite skits that you've been involved in?
Oh, they're skits. They're like babies, kids. They're all.
Well, you
they're
have
all
a favorite.
favorites,
You always have a favorite. Don't lie. No, like parents, they
I
say,
like-
I
look.
love them all the same.
Frank,
That's not true.
Frank, I'm gonna say this in front of you. My favorite ever sketch video is Dominina Heights.
Okay.
Because it was at the time that it came out, it was Ninjas in Paris, the parody off of that, but it was so much fun. Because when we did Pan con Queso, it was a global viral video, but it wasn't treated like how Dominina Heights was, where it was like hip hop. Like it was like it was great in Spanish countries everywhere, but like Dominina Heights was like, oh, it wasn't a fluke, because Pan con Queso was like, oh, because Billboard wrote an article. And it was like, these two unknowns, they're rappers from like that. They didn't even know. But once the mystique went away, they're like, all right, are they going to be able to do it again? And when we did Dominion Heights again, and to be on television, you know, on rotation, that was fun. And then having Lin-Manuel in the video too. I was supposed to have Flaco Navaja on it too. So it was supposed to have all their cameos in there. But, you know, even at that time, I was respecting people's times where I'm like, yo, I got to find you. I got to find a spot. I can't just throw you in there, you know? But that was, to this day, still my favorite sketch project that I've done.
And how was it? Because people won't know this, but Lin-Manuel Miranda, you worked with him before. Now he's like this Disney guy, and he's like the it. I feel like now he's the it Latino.
Hell yeah.
Like Disney was like, we need a Latino. We need a.
He does that other shit.
Freestyle Love Supreme. I was about to ask you about
that Freestyle Love Supreme. I actually saw Freestyle Love Supreme back in those days, and that was literally like, because that was
work.
It's genius work, but it's like, you can't. If you go to one of those shows, it's just you can't explain it. It's like, how the hell did he? It's just to freestyle rap, and put a story together.
The crazy shit, my sister loves. Yeah, my sister loves that shit. The crazy shit, she bought tickets to the one that, because they're doing it again now.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yo, she paid $50 for the tickets, and then they found out that the show that she booked that she's gonna go to is the one that Lin-Manuel is gonna be in.
Yeah.
So she just sold the tickets for like $700.
Wow.
Like, it's wild with that shit.
Well, shout out to him because he just he went to Puerto Rico. He did Hamilton in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
He forced the Tonight Show to go to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
They did a bunch of good work out there in Puerto Rico because they got Fallon and Black Thought to do the longest zip line in the world. And then Bad Bunny performed. They also had Ozuna. I'm going to ask you about Ozuna right now. Ozuna, and they had Jose Feliciano perform also on it.
Yeah.
So I thought that it was a dope move on NBC's part, and it was a dope move on Fallon. But the real guy behind that had to be Lin-Manuel.
Of course.
Lin-Manuel is a genius, but so is his father, and I think he has a great camp. Yeah. Luis Miranda is, and that's the thing you gotta understand. Like, Lin is the manifestation of Luis Miranda being obsessed with theater, and so as you imagine, you know, you and your wife will go and you have a child and you're bringing them and exposing to musical theater for such a long time. Obviously, this kid's gonna grow up to be something that's gonna love it. So I think that one of the great strengths that Lin has is his circle and his dad understanding the big picture and creating art and using art to push and raising money. So he has a great camp, but Luis Miranda too is another genius that, you know, people like won't notice, but he's a beast as well. You know?
I first saw.
I brought that up because if you get any tickets for Freestyle,
you know what's funny? I went ahead.
I'm just saying we can flip them.
Yo, I got to see Hamilton, but because the moment that they announced it, they're like, oh, it's done off Broadway, it's gonna go there. I literally was like, and I went and I got the tickets, like way in the back. But then right after it just went on Broadway, that's when it became thousands. It was crazy. I was like, nah, I'm gonna get this before anything because that's it. And now if you want to go see it, you have to go to Puerto Rico and spend thousands to see it. So they had it in like San Diego for a little bit when I was out there. And
well, they have it in London too. They have it in a bunch of like theaters around the world. But he's not in it. Like, Lin's not in it. No, I actually saw In the Heights when it was something that was like, there was a small buzz in this area.
Yeah.
And it was a Christmas present from my aunt. And I went to go watch it. And I was like, yo, this is it was Countdown. I was like, this is one of the dopest shows I've ever seen. And I've never seen Hamilton, but when people ask me about Lin-Manuel, I was like, you gotta see In the Heights.
Yo, same with me. That same platform that was creating comedy and content, I convinced them to let me go see In the Heights because at the time when I was doing Juan Bago and all that stuff, Lin's cousin was working for Manhattan Times, and she did an article about the story of Juan Bago, and then she's like, oh yeah, I have a cousin of mine, and he's doing an off-Broadway play about Washington Heights, and you know, remember, that's...
You're like, wait, I got...
That's 06, 07, Mike.
Where's he from?
Yeah, I'm like, really? Off-Broadway about Heights? That shit's probably corny. And then I went up, and I ended up watching it, and I'm like, yo,
this shit is
bananas.
Yeah.
And I remember then I interviewed him again for Broadway opening night. And I was like, what do you define success? And he's like, this is it. Me from the Heights to have a play, a musical on Broadway opening night, success. And from that, and it's funny because I was dating someone at the time that does not get, she doesn't celebrity here, celebrity there. And this is Lin-Manuel first night, and she was like, oh my God. I was like, what? It's something about that guy, Lin. He's got this aura. And I'm like, you don't get this with any celebrity. He's like, no, but him, he's
got it.
He just got it. And I'm like, wow. So from that, and then from seeing how humble he was opening night for In the Heights, I was like, this guy has that it factor that no matter who he meets, he's so humble, so friendly, that's infectious, and that's why people love him so much because of that.
And they're actually coming out with a movie in the Heights.
Yes.
He's doing the he did an open call in Watch the Heights for any, because he wants to do an all Latino.
He wants to do an all Latino cast,
which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But all those questions about Lin-Manuel, not to plug in Lin-Manuel, is will there be a, because we don't care about him, he's a nobody. Will they be?
He's washed. He's done. He's peaked.
He only got
We're
a few
waiting
more
for off Broadway.
2 years
the
left.
Story of Juan Bago.
I want
Off Broadway.
Bago
queso
musical.
The musical.
By the way, is there merch? When is there gonna be like Juan Bago merch? A little of Latinos Out Loud merch. I would love to have a Rachel La Loca t-shirt.
Well, for merch for our podcast, we are definitely working on that. And then merch for the Bago and all that stuff, I think that's probably like, as an artist or as a business person, sometimes there is like the weak spot of like stuff. And I think I've never been like really good at like capitalizing and doing merch and stuff like that. Yeah. But I guess maybe I can piggyback, and when we do the Latinos Out Loud merch, we can do stuff like that. But Frank, you can ask questions about that offline with Frank. He's the
we can also call Peralta
inventory
Project, and maybe you could do a couple of limited edition Juan Bago shirts.
Oh, yeah. I know he was mentioning something that you can go to shop. He'll do custom.
Peralta,
maybe. I'm gonna make Juan Bago, but with a V.
Yes. That way you can't get sued if you start selling them.
Just saying.
I can't sue you if it's Juan Bago. So that's the loophole.
Did you ever go back and like get it with the V? I mean,
nah. I mean, at this point in time,
whatever. It's just me.
It doesn't even look right. Like I was like, whatever.
You know the crazy shit is I didn't even realize until you said it.
I had no clue. I thought it was.
I know. You know that the word is like that, but in my mind,
I
thought it was with a
B.
B.
Always with a B. Everything.
But that's because you don't know how to write in Spanish.
No, I don't.
That's how I got exposed.
You gotta have merch with the curls though, with the Jerry curls.
Yo,
the fucking
Fernando?
Fernando too.
Fernando T.
Fernando's stickers.
Shit, I gotta write that down.
Let me write
Fernando merch.
Fernando merch
with the
Fernando
curls.
merch.
You get a small print of the store on the side, but it's Fernando on the shirt.
Let me hit him my trademark attorney.
I gotta, that is so true. Yeah. That's smart. Jeez,
so
talk offline.
We're gonna have a meeting between the two podcasts.
I like how you say offline, like
off.
That's a very like
off camera.
Podcast. I don't know.
Yeah. Turn everything off.
Yeah.
Because we have like I was talking to Juan for like 15, 20 minutes off camera.
Yeah.
And it was some funny, interesting shit offline.
Offline.
Mic's not on. What do they say to the reporter? Oh, off record.
Off record.
That's like
off
the
record.
BT after hours.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we're
anything
talking
off.
about
Anything off is just like it's
was it was called like BT Uncut, no?
Something like that.
Wait, that was the porn.
That was soft porn.
I'm just they used to play like the tip drill video.
Like you see tits in those videos. You're like, whoa.
Y'all never seen
the
Nelly tip drill video?
After hours,
yes.
Of course. That shit was like 20 minutes long.
I think the Cardi B, the Money one, that one, and
Twerk.
Money. I think Money's worse.
Oh yeah.
But there's the chip drill video, and then there's another video that used to show.
Why are you talking about this stuff?
That's all he does.
My wife watches this.
He
all
just
the time,
wasted.
You know?
He's like, I watch it with my wife.
I watch it with her. You know, she's a Cardi B fan.
Rick was talking how he wasted 50 gigs on just being online this month.
Well, my phone.
So
Well, this unlimited thing. This is how they get you.
Videos.
This is how phone companies get you.
Shut up,
It's unlimited. But then if you read the fine print, I think AT&T is like 25 gigs. After you go 25 gigs, they slow your internet down. I'm on a carrier. I'm not gonna say your name because we're not gonna check. But after 50 gigs, they slow it down. It starts with a T, ends with a mobile. So. So after 50 gigs,
but I'm not gonna say their names.
I'm not gonna say their names.
Tigre mobile, yeah. Tigre mobile. Dominicans, Tigre mobile.
Write that down.
Write that down as well.
I don't know. A lot of good ideas are coming out of this show.
Absolutely.
I don't know. We shouldn't
Alright,
put this
move.
one up.
Let's move to this one.
So, what's next for Juan Bago?
Well, I mean, continuing.
And
with
Mike
the
Diaz.
So
there's two different guys.
Yeah, that's true. With Juan Bago, I mean, continuing with the podcast. I enjoy doing the podcast. We want to do a tour. We definitely want to continue growing our audience and seeing what other mediums we have and opportunity. And then, like, I'm not with Room 28. I'm not putting it out there, like, on a negative tip, but I'm not with Room 28 because I'm focusing more on creating projects, even if it's TV shows and films, but, like, really taking the time and tapping more into the writing side of me. Because for me, in this day and age now with social media and so much distractions, it's hard when you're trying to produce. Like, I don't know if anyone's familiar, but when you are a producer and then you're a writer, the producer part of the brain always supersedes the writing. Because when you need to write, you need to be in that right space. You need to be in that right mind frame of thinking. So I kind of took away some of that so I can focus on really being on top of my self-discipline to write. So hopefully with the Juan Bago, you'll see more stuff that I'm writing and creating. And in the podcast, Latinos Out Loud, I think there's space. And look, I do a lot of research and stuff like that. Latino podcast in general is just booming every year. Like, so that's why with you guys, it's sticking consistency because the space is there. People, every day someone wakes up and says, hey, I'm going to try this whole podcast thing. It's not something that has hit a plateau and it's like, oh, I'm done with it. No, it's like international too. I mean, there's English-speaking Latinos in different countries that will listen to podcasts that are here in the United States.
You got people in Germany.
Exactly. So I think part of the last year, I was like, not only just being on the mic, but I wanted to really put energy in the Latinos Out Loud because the podcast is a space that can venture off and give you other opportunities. And then just write, and just writing and creating. I'm working on a couple of stuff, and you know, when you're working and creating something that you want to do TV or film, there's a lot more red tape. It just takes more patience and it takes longer for it to finally get there because you got to deal with this and you got to deal with that. So those are my two things that I'm focusing on, is the podcast and just creating content.
So you're trying to write like a show?
I want a TV
Are you writing
show.
a TV show?
Yeah, that was my little Trump thing. Like, I want a TV show. It's gonna be the greatest. It's gonna be the greatest Dominican show you've ever seen.
I'm writing a TV show.
Yes, all the other ones are nothing. So that's that. But there's a lot of it's just a lot. This is just a lot of work, and that is the challenge for me because in the digital space, I think of a sketch idea, like Puerto Ricans vs. Dominicans was literally a month, right? Like I literally wrote it, got together, shot it, got released, viral, right? Doing a TV show, no, it's a year and a half, 2 years to even, let's say, get it sold and stuff like that. And it's kind of hard because like when you're used to I do like even podcasts, think of the idea, record the podcast, it's out to the masses. But when you're creating a TV show, it takes a lot of time and patience. Meanwhile, you're getting the itch. You want to create something. So, and there's other one-offs that I'm working with other brands or platforms that I'm gonna create or one-off sketches. But ultimately, I'm at an age and I'm at a time where I feel like with my expertise, I want to be able to be the champion behind the scenes and get younger Latinos to be in front of the camera and stuff like that. So that's where my goal is right now.
See, Benny?
Wow.
So
I have a chance.
The star of the show, he says I
have a chance.
It's Benny.
Well, Benny, listen, you're rocking a turtleneck, so that's step one. That's a positive step.
But let me show you something right here.
Wait.
Should I had it? I should have just started with that, right?
You should have started with that.
Should I have started with that?
This interview would have been completely different.
It would have been different.
The chain was out.
Jesus.
But yes.
There it is.
So I want to say thank you to Mike for coming out, giving us an hour of his time,
his wisdom.
It was more than an hour.
Essence.
letting
Essence
us
wine.
get him
Essence.
drunk.
They got the
And
hookah ready for him.
They got the hookah ready?
we got the
for me?
hookah
Oh, wow.
outside.
We
We
got
can
the
do the
hookah coming
AMSR
in.
video now. Where we
the
can do
hookah
the
coming
So
hold on.
wait.
We have some
Lou,
questions.
do you have a question?
Hookah bowl.
Oh
Let me
wait,
see.
hold on. We got.
I
Some
wasn't
questions.
gonna, but okay, let's do it. No, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it.
We're back.
Questions
And
from
we're
the
back.
audience.
We're back.
And we're back.
We're back. Lou has a question.
Where you go?
So, I think when people ask me about Juan Bago, about Mike Diaz, it's hard to say that you're just a comedian. You know what I mean? I feel like you're like, so like, you know, like brunch. You know, it's like lunch, breakfast together.
Yeah.
It's his own thing.
Right.
So one question I have is, if you were to describe your artistry as a plate of food,
Oh,
what would it be? Second question is,
why is
How
that question
do
so
you-
sexual though?
second question is,
Yes.
That's the way he said
He
it.
As
just
a
said
plate
it
of
in a
food.
sexual.
Tone of voice.
He just said it in a
My
sexual
man, you're making
way.
me hungry, all right? but yes.
Second question is, how do you see your artistry, your creativity as a tool to make change in the world?
Okay, all right. So the first part, I think I'm a buffet at Papacitos on a Sunday.
Let's go.
Where you got the mango involved, right? 'Cause
Hell
It's
yeah.
just not a regular buffet or a Chinese buffet. Yeah, because you know what, Frank is there too. We took pride for a couple of years. We did the Bago Bunch, which was networking. And that was sort of like in the space that we were doing the parody videos, but then we also knew, you know, it was a time where Apartment 78 just opened up. It was a time where, you know, even Negro Claro, the lounge. There was a time where Washington Heights was really, you know, Peralta was really starting to really pick up on in his stuff, and I felt like, and I said this yesterday actually. I feel like your worth, and you know who told me this, Frank? Abdul told me this. Your worth is really what you can give. So like, you know, you can make a lot of money, you can have a lot of success, but what are you inspiring? Like, what are you giving forward? And so I think buffet. But the second part of the question. So it's literally like a buffet because I love when I bring people together. I love seeing you're a camera person or you're a director, but is an amazing actress that hasn't written anything yet. Get together, make a project. Like I like bringing people together. Like there was a period in time where I wasn't doing as much content, but I was really focusing on the Bago Bunch and doing these networking events in the Heights and bringing people from Queens and Brooklyn and everywhere to come experience the Heights, you know? Yeah. And then with the arts, that's why I am doing what I'm doing when I'm creating, because I feel like who are the top 5 most famous Dominicans right now, right? Or what is Oklahoma or what does Alabama think of Dominicans, right? They're probably thinking A-Rod, David Ortiz, I think
Oscar de la Renta.
right, but there's still some stigma when you're watching feature films or you're watching some, you know, any TV show that's crime, whatever. It's usually the villain or the drug dealer or gangbanger that's Dominican, right? So I think that's the part, and I've been blessed and I've been humbled to be around the Meros and the Oz Usmani, which, by the way, shouting him out, he shot a full feature called Vampires vs. the Bronx, which is a horror comedy shot in the Bronx, where it's like little kids. There's kids, but the Meros in it, Zoe Zadana's in it, and it's like that's a positive image that's going on. So I think it's a responsibility of working with other Dominicans and creating content that Blanquitos can watch and see another side of Dominicans to change the narrative.
Right.
So I think that's literally kind of what I want to work on, is changing the narrative of what we see the Latinos and Dominicans in general.
Right. That's a great
So
question.
thank you for the question.
Great answer.
That was a great
And
question.
that was a spectacular answer
Woo!
by our guest.
Go.
Next week we'll have Dex. He's
Nice.
gonna talk about his music and his painting. I have a
Dex,
major.
yes,
Dex.
he sold his piece to Odell Beckham.
Yes, he
Yo,
did.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I love Dex.
You did?
So
Dex is the man.
not only
We'll
just
shout
his
him
painting,
out.
we'll talk about his music as well, because he's a music artist.
Yes.
And we'll come back with more content and more stuff next week. Juan,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
you.
Thank you guys.
Thank
for
you.
having
It was
me.
a
I appreciate
spectacular conversation. Thank you for opening up. And,
The hookah ready.
Get the hookah.
Get the
Bring in the
hookah.
hookah.
Coconut mint?
Coconut
Are they gonna
mint.
have coconut mint? Because
Coconut
if
That
not-
is gonna be
Coconut.
that is gonna be the request.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
See you next week. So,
I'm from money making Manhattan. So what you think that I'm packing? To protect mine, I keep it on my lap and drive slow like the turtle, straight relaxing. Ain't no acting, we selling out caskets. 2 for 1, I shoot the one, ain't no scrapping. Got more money than the city that I'm repping. How? Where I'm from, New York, you know. Got more dough than that pizza shop you order from. Which one? Domino's. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up. Get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. I'll tell you, straightforward, no run around. I'm going straight forward, I ain't backing down. Mi casa ain't your casa, so get out of town. Y'all say y'all making noise, but I don't hear a sound.